I'm going to give you one of my catch-all homilies that I've just kind of had in my head for a while. For the last several weeks, we've had the vineyard parables. Every gospel for a lot of weeks has been about a vineyard, and I just need a break from the vineyard stuff. So instead, I would like us to take a little time to look at the ritual of the Mass as a whole. And full disclosure, I am going to start from a weird place. One of my favorite movies of all time is Star Wars: A New Hope, the original. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but there's only one that I'm going to focus on today. And before I go on, I want to make it clear, the point today is a readdressing of the value of the Mass. So if you're not Star Wars fans, just roll with me as best as you can. I will bring it home in the end, I promise. Now, one great thing about that movie is that final action scene with the X-Wings and the Death Star. That scene does something that very few movies manage to do perfectly. One thing happens. Just one thing happens. Luke is in the X-Wing, in the trenches of the Death Star. Time is running out, and the entire movie has built up to this one thing. And that is great, because it means that you can completely enter into that moment. I mean, you are in that X-Wing with Luke when you're watching this movie, and you can give 100% of your attention, your focus, and your energy, because there are no distractions. There's no secondary plot happening off on the side or anything like that. You are completely immersed in the moment, and that is powerful. That is amazing. And I sincerely believe that that immersive quality of that last scene is what makes the movie so memorable, in part anyway, and it's part of the reason that the movie has stood the test of time. It draws you in. It gives you a chance to be fully in the moment. So let's compare that with the ending of the Star Wars movie, which in my opinion has the worst ending, Episode 1 of Phantom Menace. In that movie, the ending shows you 4 different things at the exact same time. So the Jedi are fighting Darth Maul with lightsabers, and at the exact same time, Princess Amidala is sneaking into the palace, the Gungans are fighting the robot army, and child Anakin Skywalker is in a spaceship in the battle above the planet. And the movie almost schizophrenically flips from scene to scene to scene to scene, so you can't focus on any one thing. So you feel excitement when you watch the lightsaber fight. But then it changes to comic relief, because Gungans are basically the Star Wars version of, like, rodeo clowns. And then it goes back to tension as Amidala is sneaking in the palace, and so on and so forth. So a lot of people wandered out of the theater the first time they saw it thinking, what did I just sit through? Because confusion and perplexity is the normal reaction when you are bombarded with too much information. So I say again that Star Wars: A New Hope is a very fine movie because you can fully enter into an experience. It draws you in. And that is an effect that is, I admit, it is easy to ignore and underestimate, but it is real. So here's where Mass comes in. I hate to break it to you, but a lot of you, your lives are like the Phantom Menace. Some of my friends, those would be fighting words. Your lives are almost schizophrenic. And I know that's true because my life is not all that different. We're doing too much in life. We are bombarded with our daily lives. Think of all the things you worry about in a typical, ordinary day. You're thinking about what you need to make for dinner. A lot of you think you have a list of the things you need to do for work before tomorrow morning. and then you have to take the dog to the vet, and there's laundry you have to finish, and you have to talk to Aunt Emily about what's going on with Thanksgiving this year. And then even after all of that, we're still glued to our phones because we have to be updated on all the election news and all the COVID-19 news and all of the celebrity gossip that you may or may not be addicted to. And it adds up. And if you think about it, how could you properly give your full undivided attention to anything? How often does that happen? You're exhausted. Life in the third millennium is exhausting. And I think we all know that's true. And one solution to help us deal with that is coming to Mass on Sunday. Because Mass is a new hope. I mean that figuratively and literally. But all that brilliance that I was trying to explain to you about that movie, that is at work right here in church when the priest begins the Eucharistic prayers. Now, to be frank, everything leading up to that is a preamble. It's a warm-up. Our readings, the homily where I theoretically teach you something, our prayers, all of that's good, but it's a preamble. The real action starts when the priest gets to the altar and starts the Eucharistic prayer. And, pardon me for saying it, it's a little like Star Wars, in that it is specifically designed to draw your attention in so that you focus on the one thing that's worthy of your focus, the mystery of faith. Everything is there to help you focus. The bells call out to you at key moments in the liturgy. The essential words that the priest must say, the ones that never change, those are critical elements of the liturgy, and you're supposed to recognize them as such. And of course, a church is built in such a way that as many people as possible have line of sight to the altar so you can see what's going on. It's all by design. And frankly, it's a lot more elegant just the way it is than we give it credit for. Because I know the vast majority of you have asked at some point in your lives, why doesn't the church update itself very often? Why don't we have more flashing lights, movie screens, or backup dancers? Probably a lot of reasons for the backup dancers thing. But the real reason is this. All those things and more, in the end, are distractions. They're fun, they're entertaining, but they are distractions. And distractions are flooding us practically every moment of our waking lives. We don't need more distractions. If anything, we need more time away from distractions. And that is precisely what the Mass offers. It is time to step away from those distractions that are sucking our life out one little bit at a time every day, and to enter into something sacred. That is a precious thing. And mark my words, that is healthy. Coming to Mass is healthy on a spiritual and emotional level. So I want you to think about that for the rest of this weekend. Can you remember the last time you completely focused on one thing? No multitasking, no distractions. If you can think of something like that, I will bet you that it felt great, that it felt good to devote your entire being to something worthwhile. I have too many examples on that to give you. I'm afraid that we'll run out of time if I even start along that, because those are the best moments of my life. My happiest and most satisfying moments in the past, they weren't moments filled with distractions. The most joyful, satisfying moments of my life were when I was living my life completely and fully. And I say again, that is the Mass. It's a time to step away from our worries and fusses of the daily life, and it's a chance for us to enter into something that is bigger than ourselves. We enter into a love that is ever ancient and a hope that is ever new.